Hi gorgeous, this is episode number 86. You are listening to Heart Sells Podcast and I am your host, Christine Schlonski. I am so super pumped you are here for another Variety Friday and I can't wait to share with you what we are up to today. Before we get started, make sure you hop on over to christineschlonski.com. Find the podcast tab where you have all the episodes listed, including the show notes, the transcripts, the resources we are talking about, as well as the amazing opportunity to sign yourself in on the empowerment notes. These are my empowerment notes where I give you empowerment once a week, let you know all the updates on Heart Sells Podcast and all the other cool stuff that is going on in the Christine Schlonski world. And if you are listening, hopefully you are inspired. So make sure you rate the podcast, you review the podcast, and you subscribe so you never ever miss out on an episode. So let's dive in on today's topic, which is the question, Christine, who should I be working with? And thank you so much for asking. It is such a great question. And I know there is so much, well, let's say unclarity around it that I wanted to point out a couple things that you can do to get really, really clear on who you want to work with. And the best example I can give you is actually my own example because I know that inside out. And I also know that teaching my private VIP one-on-one clients or my group coachings has helped tremendously for them to really create the clients they desire to work with. And that makes work so much more fun. It actually becomes part of your lifestyle. And I would love for you to see that too, that by choosing wisely who you want to work with, your life can become so much better. Your business can be so much more fun and faster growing because you are doing the steps that are aligned with you, your heart, your mind, and everything will go from there. So, a really important concept that I caught on actually by one of my mentors was the idea that if you are having a client, especially a one-on-one client that you work with very closely, this client should be a person that really, really feels wonderful to work with. And I'm not saying that there are no challenges in working together because ultimately, you will be their coach or consultant or mentor or person with the product or service they need, which does put you into a leadership position. But when it comes to the point where you have a person that takes responsibility, that really shows up, that is open for transformation, and that is fun to work with, your life will become so much better. So before I started out on my own, I used to work in high-ticket event sales over the phone, and I was in that job for over 12 years and really started from not knowing what I was doing as a simple sales executive to actually leading the department, to becoming the sales director myself. In only 7 short years, taking all these steps in between and, failing in between, not making the target and getting a new target and all these ups and downs that come with working in the corporate world when you are not the boss and you are not making your own rules. So on that way, I figured out that I really wanted my time freedom. And that I wanted to create for myself and that I wanted to keep the money I was earning because I knew I was a high performer and I was really, really good in what I did because I did love it. And when you love something, you ultimately will be great at it because you practice, you give it your all, you show up. So that's a path to actually mastery. And I was really thinking, like, what could I do? What could I deliver to the world when I'm on my own? And so here I was making these decisions, finding my path, trying several things, coming up with different idea clients. And at first I didn't really know who to serve and how to serve. And, I had all these questions in my head, and you might be there too when you are listening. You might be thinking, well, Christine, I'm not quite sure who to serve. I have several ideas. I have several idea clients. And, I might be even stuck because I don't know where to start. It's also overwhelming. Overwhelm, by the way, will be the next Variety Friday. So make sure you tune on in to episode number 89, which will be the Variety Friday coming up. So anyways, I really, had the trial and error kind of thing going. And I did research. I did a lot of research. I love listening to successful people and what they have to say. And I love to catch on to little details. And over, I heard them say, well, at the beginning in my business, I worked with everybody. I just had to make ends meet. I just had to get money into the door to keep my business running. And over time, I kind of weeded out all the clients I didn't want to work with, that didn't bring me joy in having the interaction, that were difficult or that were not really my ideal clients, but I took them on board for the money. So after listening to all these stories, I figured, why would I go down that path where all the other amazing, successful entrepreneurs have already been? Why wouldn't I just take their learning and apply it to my own life? So this is where the idea kind of got implanted into myself that I only want to work with a soulmate client. And I talk especially right now about one-on-one mentoring, coaching, consulting, or like in really, really small groups where you have a lot of interaction with those people. Because when you sell like an online product that you don't have any interaction with, you don't really have a headache with clients that are not your soulmate clients. Still, you want to make sure that you get all these amazing people that take action, that get results, because they are your next testimonials, right? They are the ones who will tell all their friends and family how amazing your services and products and programs are. So definitely you want to know, like, who do you roughly want to work with? And interestingly enough, over the time, I found out that my soulmate client does resemble me a lot. And that was really a revelation because I did not have the idea when I started. When I took my first online programs to figure out what my business was going to look like and be, nobody told me, Christine, probably your ideal client is you just a couple years back. Not having taken all these steps, being in a place where they are stuck, but you have mastered it already. And I really thought, well, that's so interesting. I had to figure that out myself because I looked everywhere else. I just looked everywhere around where I saw challenges or problems coming up where people were getting stuck, but I did not look at myself, which is kind of interesting to look at right now because it took me so long to figure out that my ideal client has a lot in common with me. So for example, I know exactly my ideal client is heart-centered. I know that they are driven. They want to get results. They do what it takes, right? They are always interested in getting to their next level. They believe that learning never ever stops. They really love what they do and they really want that kind of laptop lifestyle, which doesn't mean you have to travel all the time and you can't have a home. It doesn't mean you have to become a digital nomad. It just means you have the freedom to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, with whom you want to do it, how often you want to do it. Like, you have all this freedom that comes with that lifestyle, and you can really make the decisions yourself. So I discovered that these are my ideal clients. And then, on the way, my ideal client, for example, they love to dance. And I thought that was so funny because that was something I did not pay attention to. But just like a couple of weeks ago in a group coaching, it was so interesting because I gave an example and I chose, for some reason, I don't remember really what it was about, but I chose the movie, I think, Dirty Dancing. And if you're really young, you might not have heard about it. But when I was really, really young, I sneaked into the movie theater to watch this movie. And it was such an experience. I watched it so often afterwards. So I know all the music. And we talked about music on that call. It seems to be random. But all of a sudden, I realized everybody on the call in that group coaching loved to dance. And I thought, wow, so my soulmate client loves to dance. Well, of course they do, because I do. So the term soulmate client, I define that this is a person I love to hang out with. I would love to have for dinner at my house. Every time they book their private session in my coaching calendar and I see their meeting, popping up, I'm totally excited and I'm happy and I have a big smile on my face and I'm looking forward to that interaction. I'm looking forward to serve them. I'm looking forward to cheer them on. I'm looking forward to give them the best strategies I know, the best concepts I have learned, the examples of my failures and my moments where I hit rock bottom and how I made it up again. I really want to share with them deeply of what I have experienced because I know, first of all, they will understand. They might be in that dark place where I was, and they will listen. And what's really, really important about my soulmate client, they will take action. They will find ways to make it happen. They will execute and they will tweak and execute as long as it needs to be successful. So it's really interesting when you have a look of who you want to serve. Don't go that long route. Don't take all the detours you have to figure out. Because when I started, I had 4 different ideal clients. First, I didn't have any ideal client in mind. But then the business program I took challenged me and I came up with 4 different clients. And what I did then was something that, kind of cost me months because I looked at all the ideal clients and I looked at all the ways I could serve these different interest groups. And then I picked from my head, I picked the group to serve where I thought I'm going to make the most money. And I went down that route. I had a website created, so I paid for somebody to create my website, my opt-in and all of that stuff, just to find out months later that this was so draining, that I wasn't in there for the fun, just for that business piece. And it didn't make me smile. I didn't want to go down there anymore. So I finally figured out who my soulmate client was. And then things changed. Then I knew I can show up in a way that's me. I can just be me and share my knowledge, and my soulmate client will come in. They will appreciate it. They will be grateful. They take action like crazy, and they get tremendous, tremendous results and thrive in their business because they really change their sales mindset to a sales success mindset. And that makes me happy. So they're heart-centered, they're driven, they do what it takes. They totally see that investing in themselves is the best investment they can make. And they find a way to find the money, to find a way to work with me. No matter where you are on your journey, right? There are different options. But my ideal client, the soulmate client, they find a way to go for really digging in deep and getting those results no matter what it takes. And because they take action, they go for the results, they have a return on investment rather soon, but that's obviously something I can't promise them. But I know when they do the work, the next logical step is that they get the outcome. My ideal client, which is my soulmate client, is fun to be with. I can meet with them at conferences. I can hang out with them when I'm traveling and they are in the city I'm going to. I would be happy to have them over for dinner, and I could just sit there and talk to them for hours about everything because we are so aligned. Our souls are aligned that I just can't wait to call them in. They love to dance, they love luxury, they love nature, they have that drive. So what I would love for you to do, and that's like my next weekly challenge for you right now till the next Variety Friday, get a piece of paper. And if you have a journal, get your journal and write down who your ideal client is. Just think of all the ways that you enjoy your life. And then just give those attributes to your ideal client. My ideal client is heart-centered, they are driven, they do what it takes, they love to dance, they love to love, they love life, they love to travel, right? Put everything you can think of in the picture of your soulmate client. Because once you got that clarity, magic will happen. You will then know where to go to, where to meet your ideal client, where they hang out, and it will be easy because it's going to be a soulmate connection. And because it is a soulmate connection, the percentage in which people will say yes to you as your soulmate client is so much higher than just picking a random person that could need your product or service and selling it to them. So I would invite you to not take that long route with all the details to figure out what so many, well, probably hundreds or thousands of successful people figured out before you, that once they weeded out all the clients they didn't want to work with, they had an incredible energy and drive and excitement for their business. And if you create your dream business, you create your dream life. Thank you so, so much for listening. Please let me know what you think. Write me an email to info@christineschlonski.com with your questions, with your comments, and please go to iTunes and rate the podcast and give it a review if this content is supporting you. Because if it's supporting you, I would love for you to support Heart Sells Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day wherever you are in this world. And I'm saying bye for now.